Good evening, black belts. We are going to get right into our warm-up, so we get the blood pumping. Again, I know you get locked up long enough, and you got to do something to get your yayas out. So we're going to go ahead and do a bunch of punches, because I like bunches of punches for the warm-up. So let's go ahead and get ourselves bowed in. So, onegaishimasu. Onegaishimasu. Okay, so in doing these punches, we're going to do a sense of 10 punches. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep changing the hand shapes. All right, so back in the white belt, we know that we punch with the fist straight up and down. And so as you're doing the punches, there's a couple things that I'm going to be looking at. I'm changing the hand shapes. And one of them is that you are saving some of that elbow for yourself. That when you throw that punch, you did not extend that arm all the way out and that elbow lock out. Okay, so if you're throwing 10, boom, 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 each one, you still have saved yourself a little bit of that elbow. So that way you did not hyperextend your arm as you went through this. You didn't let that shock roll back into your shoulder. So I'm still putting that shoulder behind it, but I can deliver a significant blow with the arm bent. And I don't want any lockouts on this. So you want to take a look at that as you're going through. So let's go ahead and just start. We're going to get you lined up in there. And our first punch is going to be a regular white belt, yellow belt, straight up and down punch. Okay, right. So let's get 10. When I count, I get all 10. Ready? Nice. So next though would be to turn. And when we turn, then we drill the punch in. We drill it into the target. That's part of the spiral. Drill that rascal and get 10. Come on. Okay, so let's go ahead now and turn it up. When we want the uppercut, the ripper, as we bring that rascal up in, and again, keeping that thing centered. It's going to be delivering that without flying way up out of center. Okay? As I'm bringing it up right up into here, bang, making that hit. Power penetrates through. Fist doesn't go flying into the nether regions. Okay? Ready? 10. Okay, nice work. All right, so next though, let's go ahead and just kind of work the arm just a little bit. We're going to go right into that back fist. And so when we throw that back fist, same thing, striking with the back of the fist, we are not locking that arm out. Right? Okay, so we want to keep that. So again, I can bang, 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 bang as I bring it around without ever locking all the way out. Let's get 10. Sorry, sir. Come on, guys. Nice work. Okay, so now we've gone ahead with the straight. We drilled it in. We ripped it up, and we brought it the other direction. So we got all of those. Let's go ahead and work on the hand a little bit with the koken. Koken, an all-knuckle wedge. What we like to do with this fist is to find a part of the body where there's a connection, okay? Right in here where the arm connects to the trunk. Excellent place to put this. Above the hip on the way down. Another place to put this in that inguinal crease. You guys are shooting for there. Another great place to put a blow like this. So you want to look for one part of the structure of the body that attaches to another, and you wedge your shot into there. Keep the thumb on the top. Don't let the thumb hitchhike out, and don't try to roll it down into the fingers. Just keep it on the top. Keep this blade working straight just like that. Let's get 10. Right? Okay, work your hand. Okay? All right, so that's looking pretty good. So we've come in straight. We drilled it in, we ripped it up, we back fisted it, and we kokened. And so all we want to do is do all of that, right? Okay? And as you do it, you're going to do one going this way, and we're going that way, and we've got this one going this way, we got that one going that way, and then when we finish, we'll be back to this way again. Right? Okay? Can you do that? So, sir. All right, guys, keep up with Mr. Erik. Ready, go. Get them straight up and down. 10 of them. That's it. That's it. That's it. All the fists. 10 of each of all the fists. What's the next fist?
Turn the fist.
Oh, turn the fist. Give me 10. Turn the fist. That's it. He's working his way around, working his way around. Turn the fist. Next is the uppercut. Rip, rip, rip. Boom, boom. Give me 10. Moving around, moving around. Getting 10. Nice job, nice job. Next was the back fist. Bring that thing out. Whack, whack, whack. Okay, saving that elbow for yourself. Know what part of the hand you're using to hit. Next is the koken. All knuckle wedge. Go ahead. Just keeping you guys punching a little bit. Get that stuff out. Okay, next though, your friend in mind, the mid-knuckle punch. Okay, the mid-knuckle punch, you want to go ahead and create this shape so that way the knuckle sticks out. You're going to bring that thumb all the way back into center. Mid-knuckle punch delivers its power best in a rising motion. This is good for straight in, but rising is where you're really going to get the best support for this rascal. So on the mid knuckles, you're going back and forth, create the shape. Make sure that your hand is comfortable with it, okay? Bah, 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 bah. Keep that elbow bent. When you're throwing that blow, keep that elbow bent, but give me your best power. Let's get 10. Come on, guys. Keep up. Let's get 10. Okay, nice work. Okay, next when we use the first finger, the index finger. That when we hit with the index finger, what we're doing is we're actually catching something and the blow pinches down. Okay, this one up, this one down. Okay, so I hit with something like this. I usually like to catch it in really nice little nooks and crannies around the jaw, coming in on the side. Use this one in here. It pushes in the down direction when you catch your target. Okay, so different from the mid knuckle. Find out what you're comfortable with and getting this shape. I like to block with my knuckle right here, my thumb, and get this to be the most prominent piece. And back, back. Keep that elbow for yourself. Let's get 10. Right? Get 10. First finger. Nice job. Next thumb bow. Thumb bow. Put it on the top. It only has to stick out a little bit. Okay, thumb bows. Oh man, they work in all kinds of directions, and they can come in from the side. That's another great thing about thumb bows, because you can sneak them in the rhythm, just like and just grind them in the side of the neck. Grind it in. Those are a great application for this. You guys have been around me for a couple days now. You hit those storefront doors with that thing, or when the guy in the post office in front of you lets the door go instead of holding it for you, then you take your thumb bone and go boom and stop that glass from coming at you. Okay, and then you do that for a little while, and your thumb will be plenty conditioned to deliver the blows. Okay, so go ahead, set your hand. Bah, remember, when you're making the punch, bang, that you keep that little bit of elbow for yourself. Let's get 10. Right. Okay, so looky looks, and we went with this one, and we went with that one, right? You brought it up like this. You did your back fist, brought it out like that. You brought your wedge in here. You got a mid knuckle coming up. You got a first finger coming down. You got a thumb bow that comes in from all kinds of spots. So all of those different fist shapes are looking for particular anatomical targets on the body. And I want you to think about them as you go through it as to where on the body this works the best. So that way you would put the right lock and key combination together when you make your punches. Okay, so out of all of those punches, in as many directions as you want to go, I'm going to have you guys steady punching. You can mix them up in any order. You can change anytime you want. You can face any direction what you want, but you got to go for full 2 minutes, no stops.
Yes, sir.
2 minutes, no stops. You got the breath for this?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, make sure we don't lock it out. Watch that your body is in the best position for delivering the best energy without taking a huge toll on your personal energy. All right, you're warming up, not beating yourself down. 2 minutes, ready, go! Keep up, black belts, keep up now. Erik, have all the fun. That's it, work it. Oh, breathe. See your target. That's a workout. That's a workout. We're rounding the 1 minute mark. We got a whole other minute to go. That's one. Come on, guys. Punch, breathe. Punch, breathe. How about the guys from the UFC fighting out for 5 minute rounds? With kicks, tackles, holds, jumps, throws, and taking blows the whole time. Breathe, guys. Breathe. Breathe. Punch. Get those yah-yahs out. I see a virus, I got a whole bunch of different punches that pop right in this daggone little spaceship eye. That's it, we're good? You got 30 seconds left. Breathe. Breathe. You're prepping yourself for your stretch. Come on, breathe. punch, punch. Looking good. 2 minutes. Steady rock and roll. Handshakes. Saving the elbow for yourself. Guys, you're almost there. You're down to 5 seconds. Come on. Don't lose it now. 3, 2, 1. All right, don't stop dead. Don't stop dead. Don't stop dead. Let's get a ballet basic. As we're out here again, if you went ahead and did all that pumping, you got to keep yourself moving. Don't stop dead. If any of you guys ever ran the long runs, then you know you can't just stop at the finish line and fall down like a blob, because you will cramp up so bad, it will be terrible. It'll be terrible. So you just want to keep that motion, breathe, work that body. Oh, as you're bringing it around. 1, 2, work it. That's it. Pa. Whoosh. All right, so let's go with hands out, hands out. We're just going to make some little circles and keep making them a little bigger. Breathe. Work that out a little bit so they're nice and big. And let's go backwards, starting big. And then we'll bring them in a little, 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 little at a time. There we go. Nice. Reach all the way out. And then big squeeze. Reach all the way out. Switch the arms the other way around and squeeze. Check that out. All right, let's get 1 long split, 2 long split, and 1 heel split. And we will be warmed up, ready to rock. Okay. And good. All right. So you say just going ahead and made the switch from there instead of standing all the way back up. You guys can go ahead and do that. Save your little wear and tear if that does it. And again, staying up on top of the split and keeping the toes up. This is important. We're going to work that stretch, and then just go ahead and shake those legs out. Right. Shake it out. Shake it out. Okay. All right. So if you don't have access to a lot of different types of equipment, you don't have your gym, you don't have those kinds of things that are available to you. Certainly with what you know, and then just driving, you can see. You can definitely get that heart and lungs working. You can get yourself a workout. You can go ahead and get yourself into that place where you have to breathe a little bit, because it helps to breathe out all of the negativity, to breathe out all of that dirt that we've been breathing in over the last 5 or so weeks. And so hopefully you went ahead, hung with those punches. If you're watching this later, you get on this thing, 2 minutes, steady getting it. It'll do your body good. Okay? All right, so we want to take a look at some of our artistic expression that we've been doing in form. And I know that over the different ranks, you guys have got different forms that you're able to use in order to do your expressive stuff. And so I want to just go ahead and play with it a little bit. And let's take a look at one of the easiest ones that we can do when we're trying to bring out some expressiveness in a form, which would be that some moves are going to be done quickly and some moves are going to be done slowly. Right. Okay, so that in of itself very easy. The thing that I want is I want to be able to audibly tell by your breathing, right, the way that you're controlling that move. So that way, if you're doing a quick move, you got a breath that reflects that. And if you're doing a slow move where you're finally drawing that posture into completion, that there's a breath that goes right along and times with that too. Okay, so we're going to just do it on basic forms. Yes, sir. Okay, so it's nice and easy. So let's go ahead and bring Mr. Erik out. Right. All right, we're going to go kind of slow on the start. Right. But again, right when you very first start, you're in Shizen or in a tension position, okay, right in here, then this is a posture, just like parole is a posture, but we're taking a look at this one now. This is clearly, I am ready. I'm straight up and down, paying attention, good balance, everything's centered, ready to go. You can go in any direction from here, all right? And so just starting right away, you're not going to want to do the old white belt, smell the flowers, and make the ring that you did when you were first learning basic form. Hopefully you guys were reaching in and smelling those flowers, and it wasn't any chitty up and chumbi. There we go. Okay, so we don't want to do that. We want to have some fun with chumbi. All right, so let's just start out with that one move. Ready? But so again, outstanding stance, and the breath is audible. You can tell how it times right along with the move. Okay? All right, so we're going to go through the first 4 counts. Ready? Out. Out. Okay, so on this portion, then we balanced both sides. Things had, it wasn't dynamic tension. It was slow, but it was powerful. It had a lot of strength behind it. It was very earthy. Okay, so let's continue. Ready? Out. So notice, even in a slow expression, he's got full body twist, big chambers, outstanding stance. He's got the Hawkeye right on target. Everything is clicked right into place, and it all comes together as each posture is executed. All right, we're going to go into the kick and punch portion. Ready? Out. 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 Good. Okay, so again, just because we're moving slowly, the ki doesn't come out like ki. I also say it's still got to add to the actual strike. All right, bringing it around. Hey, there's the look. Again, hands clicking into place together, whether we're moving fast or whether we're moving slow and deliberate. Hey, big chambers. Excellent timing. Ready? Hey, there's the look. Comes right around. The foot in the stance just steps right into it. Knuckles or mouth high. Out. There's that breath that times out that punch. All right, we're on our way back. Ready? Hey! See that big chamber and body twist in a slow motion. Ready? Hey! Brings it up. Right, everything clicks right in. There's a timing thing as you're going around. You want to have all parts of your posture time in so that the posture clicks into place. Hey! Hey! Okay, so we're coming around. Notice that he looks as he moves. Hey! So artistic or not, you are still going to want to keep look, step, strike in place as you're moving through. Hey! Nice job. Remember to look, guys. Ready? Hey! And lasso goes, hey! Tension B. Bravo, bravo. Okay, now it's going to be, sing along with the bouncing ball style. So that way, if you were watching that, so that way you could, get all of the detail and the information that we were looking for in this one particular expression, then this is your chance to actually go ahead and do it and keep up. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do it one more time. This is no count. All slow like that. All slow, just like you just did it. This is your turn. You're going to go with it. I'm looking for a lot of intensity. Notice that when he moves, whoa, there's a lot of intensity. It's not dynamic tension stuff, okay? But for a slow motion, everything very deliberate. And so I want you to go ahead and bring out the strength in each move, even though you're going slowly. All right, Mr. Erik, when you're ready, guys at home, keep up. Yeah! Shout it out, guys. Come on, keep up. You got a stance like that? I hear that breath. Yeah! That's it. Working that TI. You got a stance like that? Stay strong. There's the look, step, and strike. What do you think, Mr. Ben? Bravo. Bravo. So here, in just taking your time and making each move very deliberate, using the breath to time it out and being consistent throughout the form, you have a whole different kind of expressiveness. Okay, so let's mix that up a little bit now and mix our fast moves and our slow moves so that you have some that you want to do that are going to be just wham, the way that you do it when you're breaking boards and you're tearing it up in the spar ring. Other times, then you're going to want to go ahead and take your time, have fun with the move, breathe that thing out, feel it, and enjoy yourself a little bit in just the execution of that one posture as you move your way along. So let's go ahead and just take a look at an example of this. So what I'd like you to do is to very deliberately put your fasts so that way when they have to copy you next rep, they're going to remember where all those changes are at.
So fast, slow,
Fast and slow, and it's going to be up to you how to mix them. Right? We just want consistency because they're going to have to do this form right after you're done.
Sorry, sir. All right, whole thing?
Whole thing.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, it only takes about 30 seconds to knock this thing out. Okay, so in this case, then you guys can plan that when you're executing a middle block, you're going to be taking your time. When you're executing a down block, you're going to be taking your time. And you're going to do those moves the same way that you did when you did the first basic form example. All right, the rest of the moves then, they got some snap to it. All right, so when Mr. Erik does the form this time, your job, keep up, and remember, it's the middle blocks and the down blocks that you're going to do slowly with a breath that matches the timing of the execution of those postures. All right, let's see what you got. All right, we're keeping an eye on it. Make sure to keep it up. Fast. There's your slow. Slow on the middle. Fast on the rest. Slow on the down block. Here we go. Come on. Yeah. So as you're going along, and what was the other thing that kind of kept coming up that was part of the expressiveness of this form? Do we have any answers on what else was Mr. Erik doing that was making this form more expressive and interesting? So it's just slow moves and fast moves that were balanced out in a predictable manner. We have some answers on the way. Okay, he does an excellent job of drawing both directions. So you guys get a great opportunity to see that. Okay. How many key eyes for Mr. Erik's form? Oh, okay. I'm going to have to go back and watch the video, sir, because there was a lot. Right. All right, so there's another thing then. It's the sounds that go along with the motions that, when you got to the 2 points on basic form, you have the key eye that got put in there, way back in your Nobel days. And so then that's consistent. And then you also were in those classes where we were rocking out a form and then somebody just started key-eyeing and they were key-eyeing on the last move and they were key-eyeing on Tekubi because they were totally into it. And then we all kind of snickered like, oh, that key-eye's not supposed to be there. But in fact, it is supposed to be there, isn't it? Because you are expressing yourself. You're an artist. You are not a paint by numbers person. And so if all of a sudden the spirit moved you and you had the key-eye, well, do it. And if you felt that a particular sound would augment the use of the blow or the use of the posture, the way that you're expressing it, then you add that sound in, and you want to make sure that when you add it in, it has just as much fortitude and support as everything else, that you did not do a, key eye light, okay, has half the fat of a regular key eye. Okay, we don't want to do that. We want our key eyes to lay it down, lay it down. Okay. All right. So fast and slows, we've got that kind of stuff. We got the extra breathing, the key eye, the expressiveness. And so the last one I want to do, and it's going to put the pressure on my camera person here, is Mr. Eric's going to go through the form. You can do whatever you want with basic form. And I want you to focus on facial expressions.
Right. So I can can change angles. I can do whatever I want.
Whatever you want. Obviously, she has to chase you around.
Say sorry.
But, I want you to see that a lot of times we're focusing on the body and on the sound and on the technical excellence of each one of the postures. But there's this other thing going on, which is all the brain work. And the brain work is broadcast out of your face. Okay, some of you guys have seen this and made these comments in spar class when you've got like a little girl that's this big who's got her death face on. She's just beating somebody right out of the ring. And you guys are going, you see that? You see that? That's weird. You see that? Did you see that? I was scared of that. Okay, and that's the kind of thing that you also want to add in when you're running your form, is that you've got all that going on in your mind, so there should be something coming out. All right, you wouldn't want your best singing performer to come out and be like, la 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 la. Don't you love my great song? It was a hit. I sold million records. Aren't you impressed? No, you're going to want some expressiveness. They got to get out there and do their thing. Otherwise, you would not buy their records, and that's the way that would roll. So it's the same thing. So this is from the Mr. Eric's Greatest Hits album. Okay, and on this, then you got a lot going on in your mind, not just I can do this and I can keep my my fast, my slows, or whatever all lined up and in place, and that's all I'm thinking, because that's not all he's thinking. It's about how good it feels. It's about the bunkais. It's about all of those other things that come in. Okay, so let's just do one.
And again, just to make sure I understand, so most benefit for them would probably be not changing a whole lot of angles, probably just stick with the eye formation.
Right.
Okay, so that way you'll know where I'm facing at all times.
Okay.
Right, so don't forget to get the face right.
She can do this.
All right, let me find my motivation here. Oh my goodness gracious, camera's right up in front of my face. Okay.
Well, right. All right. So again, all of that concentration, all of the intensity, you can pick a lot of that up just from like watching the face, watching the eyes as the person moves through. And Mr. Erik does a great job of showing you this. Then I'm going to want to see it out of you too. I want to see it out of you, because when we don't do that kind of thing, we're keeping a cap on our potential. All right. You're not letting yourself just go for it. And sometimes if you want to make a big splash, then you got to just go for it. It could be a big belly flop, but that's okay, because there's another rep behind that one. We learned that way back in Orange Belt. There's always another try. And so we use basic form in this case. And obviously I'm not going to want you to do this with basic form. I'm going to want you to do it with your highest level form. So that way it will probably behoove you to go ahead and play with it a little while, come up with something that you're happy with, practice that out, make sure it's consistent, and then go ahead and film it. And so that way it's not just, all right, put the camera on, let me go for it. That's what I did to Mr. Erik. Okay? You guys have the benefit of having time to plan it out. So that way it's a little bit more relaxing of an assignment, because it's not just like put the camera on and let's go right now. Let's see what you got. You know, I would do that to you in class, but I don't have you, so I would go ahead and use that opportunity to plan, to think, rethink. Just like anything else, once you've created it, if you need to edit it, then you start erasing some stuff and putting in new or moving things around or whatever it is that you want to do with it. But for your homework, I'm going to want to see some artistic expression that's using the fast, the slow, the hard, the soft, the breath, the intensity, the enjoyment of it. And if you want to throw in some extra moves, throw in some extra moves. There's a little bit of spice on that. That's fine. You know, not everybody, you know, likes salt and pepper on everything, but I like salt and pepper on almost everything. So I want you to spice it up so that way it's not, you know, your same old, same old. I do not want the Breyers vanilla form.
Sure, sir.
Okay, absolutely not. I want, you know, something that just, you know, slaps you across the face like a big wad of wasabi or something. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and switch and make this hard on Mr. Ben and send Mr. Erik back and bring Mr. Ben out, because Mr. Ben submitted an artistic form that was off the hook. And so then he gets an impromptu, no chance to plan. This is your Pyongwon.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and was having a lot of fun with you know, artistic expression outside. You know, again, those of you who are doing the outside work, I know that the surface is not regular. Even if your lawn seems very flat, once you get out there and start moving around, you realize right away that it's not that flat. Okay, so in here, again, he's got that nice floor. When he submitted it as a video, he had to do it in the grass. And so that I thought added a lot, because this form demands some really keen balance skills. All right, the sidekicks in that form were outstanding. The whole thing just rocked. And so I want you guys to have an opportunity to see one of the other black belts having some fun, just expressing themselves with the form that they're responsible for. So let's take a look at Pyongwon. Mr. Ben having fun style.
Hey.
There you go. We're just small roll around the house here, so that just goes to show you, you watch something like that and it's enjoyable to see. Obviously, it's enjoyable to do it. Okay, not everybody can just get up and crank that kind of stuff out. You guys have practiced for a long time to get your body to listen and to move gracefully that way, and it's a gracefulness that you guys also know that can deliver a major hammer at any time. That can go ahead and take a situation and change it into what you need it to be changed into, simply by the way that you apply your thinking. Okay, so it's not just, I want to see beautiful art. That thing actually has got some serious teeth. So if we were to break it down into bunkai style by move, you'd be seeing a whole different thing. All right, notice that on the staggering in the beginning, how much body English is put into a motion like this, is that every piece of the motion of the hands is connected to the rest of the body. See whether or not you can pull that out. If on only Chumbi, that would be a great place to go ahead and experiment with that kind of staggering and that kind of motion that came from your center. Okay, so for those of us that are, eating more because there's nothing to do, but maybe like my wife, your wife, like cooks really good, or your husband cooks really good meals, and you find yourself going back for third, no problem. You just got to work it. And then, if you're having some balance, then you got to use it. You got to take that center and throw it in so that way you're getting an energy from that thing, not just growing it so that way you can put out the biggest pumpkin at the end of the season and win the contest. That's not what we're after, but we do have a lot of power in the center, and you want to use that power. That initial move where he brought those hands out and staggered all of that way is showing you a great way to put that stuff to work. Okay, so your highest form with your best artistic expression, have some fun with it, take your time, let us see it. I would really like to see what you can bring out in that next level. Okay? All right, thank you, Mr. Ben. We'll bring Mr. Eric back. We're going to take a look at our next two entries, and then we're going to call it for the day. So we've worked our way all the way up to the Sodari. And so we want to take a look at the Hungyak today and the Tekubi. And we're going to go ahead and deal with the Tachis here next time. So not everybody is ready to do a Tachi with nobody there, because they help to break your fall. And when you do a Tachi with nobody there, then it's possible that you might hit the ground a little harder than you wanted to. So let's just take a look at the entries here. So we're going to go back over to our text. Right? It's on the floor, and then again, understanding that the punch is coming right down the north to south line. Okay, if I'm taking a look at something like Hungyak, I can always catch a Hungyak the way I catch a Kotegai form. All right, so if I'm not dealing with somebody just grabbing me, and we're going to take a look at that one, that's going to be one. I'd be dealing with somebody who's trying to punch, and so I'd come in with the exact same entry that I would with a Kotegai one. It's just instead of bringing it all the way around and setting that wrist high and the shoulder low, then from that initial catch, I'd be bringing it up and then cutting the circle in half. And so whether I bring the arm all the way around for the trap, or whether I bring the arm around and then stop it and then go ahead and produce that pressure as I cut back, either way, that same entry will work. All right, so if you want to do it off the punch, then essentially you're doing a Kotegai one entry. Okay, if you're thinking about how do I do it off of the grab, okay, off of the grab, it's a trap slap. It's not slap trap. Because if I slap them first, they're going to let go. Right. Okay? So once the hand comes on, it's going to be that 1-2. I'm going to hold the hand on me and slap that face. When I'm dealing with an actual person that does the grab, then what happens when I do trap slap is that the hand that's not as easily seen moves first. Okay? If I move this hand first, he sees it. It's on the inside. This is inside the best of his vision. Out here, it's harder to see it. And there's a structure here that's blocking part of it. Okay, so I always do the trap before the slap. Alrighty? So I'm coming around. I don't want to go, boom, as soon as I do that, he's off of me. There is no Hungyak. Well, maybe you got some other moves, and that's all great, but that's not what we're doing today. So if we got the hand up in here, it's trap and slap. Okay? Then you're just coming right down. So if I take him out of there, then initially, I'm just putting my hand on top of my other hand. Okay? And so from this position, that person's grabbing me. I'm not moving necessarily off of a punch line. But when a person grabs me, I'll bring Mr. Erik back up. When I see him, we'll start at neutral. Okay? When I see him grab, then I may go ahead and move right there so that the grab doesn't land quite where he wanted it to. It still lands because I still want to go ahead and move my technique, but I'm not just going to stand still and go ahead and let him grab. Okay? Because then this gives him all the choices, gives me not so many choices. Right? Alrighty? So on this entry, then I'm going to want 1-2, all right? Trap slap. That thing right on there, get that hand to then come right back on top of the other one. All right? Nice and easy. Okay? On the Tekubi, we're going to sidestep, block, and rifle that rip. And I want everything on this ripper. Bang! Okay? So what I don't want to see is, I blocked it. Bang! That's too late. That's too late. So on the feedback on a lot of your initial cardinal entries, that was the area that I zeroed in on. So let's do the same thing here. 1-2, and get that punch in there. I don't need to see the rest of the fancy. That's getting into the catch. All I want to see is that you're able to move and get that punch on that rib, pop that floating rib, give them something to think about right away. Alrighty? So I want to see your entries then on the Hungyak. And if you wanted to go ahead and do it Kotegai one style, that's fine, but you've already done that. I'm interested in trap slap, and whether or not you're able to get that hand back in. And on that Tekubi, off the punch line, bang, get it right in there. And then I want to see it in awesome artistic form. Right? All righty? Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Erik. Excellent workout. Thank you, sir. Right? And at home? Question?
They want to know if you can catch a Hungyak like a Sodari.
Can you catch a Hungyak like a Sodari?
You can. You can.
Yes. Okay. Actually, let's switch.
Okay. Like this?
No, it's just a punch. Okay. If I'm catching it here, now I've got it, right? All the way around. Right? Okay? So I came in the same way and I brought that other hand up there. That was just to keep it from getting away. All right? But what I've done is I've done an alignment right away. Okay? So the punch comes in, I'm catching and I'm putting it on base, which means that I'm the one that stuck it onto my shoulder. All right? I put it on a base. That allows me to get my thumb where I want it to be and get my hand on that rascal. Okay? And from here, I'm going to move my whole body because I don't like that. Right? That punch does not look good for me. Okay? So once I've gotten here, I'm not going to worry about using the elbow to block that because I've got technique.
Right.
Okay? So instead, I'll just move my body. Right? Okay? Now, in this case, my center is facing this way. Right? But I'm still centered over here.
Right. He's got me, guys.
Okay? All right? Remember, that centering comes out of your center in all directions like light out of a light bulb. All right? If Logan's out there who did the robot kungang, we talked about how you brought those hands out and made that wonderful symmetry, even though that one hand was really flying high, in order to go ahead and express that move. And we said that if you were to keep that going, you would still have an excellent viable technique. Right? Okay? So you can bring it in on the catch, bring it back around, hung out, and stop it right there.
I think so this catch. I'm saying maybe a little bit short, so what would you do with the 10 there?
The elbow will be short for the hunyak.
Since the elbow seems short for the attempt, what would the attempt be on that?
I'm smacking in the face.
Okay, I could do that.
Okay.
All right? Yeah, as he's punching, I could go bang and then try to bring it around. If I do that, then you're going to see that my other hand's going to come up to assist.
Right.
And the reason that's happening is because now I've given this hand something else to do. Before I didn't. Okay, so if I'm going to do that, then this hand is going to need to start to come up for a trap. Right? Okay. Now the way that that's going to happen, since this is a punch, is I've got to go ahead and catch that thing up against my body. All right. Then from here, regardless of how it attached, I'm putting my hand on it. Once I've got that, I'm like, oh, there you are. And then I'm going to rolling it back. Okay, so I'm back to hunyak. All righty? Right. And a quick catch to snatch on some of these things. You know, the atemi can almost be a second thought. It can, you grab that thing so quickly and made your change, the atemi wasn't really necessary. All right. Again, you're asking a high-level question.
Yes.
You pull that off. What you're doing is you're saying, I want to take that that hunyak and basically force it into this particular attack. What I tend to do is to go, I don't know what cardinal I'm going to do until the attack. And then, but depending on what the attack is, I'll pick the best one that fits it, that keeps me the safest and is the most effective. All right. Now, when you're doing academia, you're just going ahead and throwing whatever and seeing what you can catch and what you can't in order to sort through it.
Okay.
Okay? Does that work? Right. All right. I didn't run over. It wasn't me. All right. Practice, practice. You know, get that hard workout. Think about that 2-minute punch drill. Something just that much. Put yourself through that. You wake up in the morning, have your orange juice, do a 2-minute punch drill, man, your day is set.
Sir, yes, sir.
All right. You ready? Yep. Thank you, black belts.
Thank you, sir.
All right, man. I miss you. I love you.